Like when I appear, work been tough for all these years. Now the
Welcome to the Man United stream. Hope you're doing well. Thursday morning, and we've got a cracking show for you today. Yes, you've seen the thumbnail. We know where we're going with this one, aren't we? We know it's Wilcox destroying Man United. Absolutely destroying Man United. There's some crazy news coming out about how he's looking to sign a left winger. What is all that about? Left winger? We don't need a bloody left winger. We need a midfielder. Stop doing this to United. You're not the manager. You don't have a clue. So stop it. Stop this. Seriously. Why have we got owners who are letting this guy loose on Man United? He has absolutely no clue. He doesn't know the DNA or the identity or whatever else you want to call it about Man United. Nothing. He knows nothing. So why is he dictating transfers? If this is true, this is a huge problem, because this guy, I think he's on a secret agenda to completely destroy any hope we've got left of Man United clawing back into these top positions in the Champions League spots, because we don't need another attacking winger. We don't. Nobody can sit here and tell me that, oh, look, actually, we could actually do with a new winger coming in, right? We don't need that. We don't. We need a midfielder who can do a defensive job for United. We just cannot afford to waste more money at a winger that we're going to probably sit on the bench. Who's going to go off on the bench if we bring another winger in? And this is being pushed by Wilcox, we're hearing. We're going to be jumping into that. We're going to, of course, going to be looking at transfers. There's some crazy stuff about transfers coming along as well. Not necessarily involving Man United, though. I must add that. Look, United signing players in the January transfer window looks highly unlikely. But will Ineos be able to take the pressure? We've also got news coming out that the Glazers are in Manchester with Ratcliffe today, having a big meeting of some kind. I don't know what it is. I don't know whether they're going to tap him on the back and say, well done, Jim. You're doing a great job. You're making us look like bloody brilliant owners right now. So you're doing a fantastic job. Or will they be discussing something else? Maybe to do with the sale of Manchester United. Hopefully. Fingers crossed. You never know. They might be talking about, right, Jim, we've had enough. We want to sell United. So get your shit together. If you want to buy United, buy it. Or if not, we're off to a consortium out in the UAE and they're going to buy Man United. But look, for me, it's not about who's buying United. It's always about how much money they're going to put into the club. Will a new owner come in and clear the debt? If that is the case, I'm all for it. And that was my determining reasons for why I was going after someone like Sheikh Yassim when we had the option of Jim Ratcliffe or Sheikh Yassim. It was Sheikh Yassim all day long. The reason being is because he was offering us a clean slate. He was saying, look, I'm going to come in and I'm going to take all the debt away. I'm going to clear the debt. And then I'll work my way up from there. Jim Ratcliffe never said that. He never said he's going to clear the debt. He never said he wanted 100% ownership. And I still don't understand how fans got behind him immediately. I mean, the day it was announced, the night it was announced, I remember Christmas Eve. I was there listening to fans getting behind him and then jumping on the backs of any fan who dared to say, actually, I'm not quite sure if Ineos are the answer. And it'd be like, how dare you say that? How dare you? Get behind the new ownership and they're going to do wonders for United. Bullshit. All them people now are the same people now saying, oh, Ineos are completely destroying United. Ineos are completely not the owners that we needed. Thank you very much. This is why you've got to always stick to your principles. This is why you've got to always listen to your own instincts. If something doesn't feel right, is not feeling right with you when whatever they're telling you, just go with your instinct. Go with your bloody instinct. I mean, Ineos and Jim Ratcliffe, they tried to buy Chelsea literally 3-4 months prior to buying United. So, yeah, I mean, if that wasn't alarm bells already, I don't know what else we needed as a fan base. Now, look, the fan base, some of us are still kind of got our heads in the sand. Some of us still believe that Ineos are going to do some good. And some believe that Wilcox is actually doing good at United. But he's not. He's not, because he is taking control of everything. Behind the scenes, he's the one who's dictating everything. And that's why he wanted out for Ruben Amorim. He wanted Ruben Amorim out because he wanted to make the decisions on what players come in and what players leave. Now, we've got lots of activity going on in the transfer market, but Man United look like they just sat back watching it all take place. We're going to discuss that as well, so hope you're having a good Thursday morning. It's going to be a crazy show. We've got lots to discuss, lots to go through. I'm not quite sure if I can even actually fit it into the time I've got, but I will try, like always, to give you everything I've got, and if not, we'll have to do another show, but I will try and get everything covered in today's show. Actually, I always miss the formalities right at the start of the show. Welcome. Make sure you hit the like. Make sure you subscribe if you want to. If you want to, you're free to do whatever you want to do. I'm not forcing anybody to do anything. But you will benefit if you subscribe to the channel. You will, because you'll be kept up to date with everything that's going on at Man United, but without the bullshit, without all the smoke screen that some people give you about Man United. It's a no-nonsense channel. We give you everything like it is. We don't mince our words. Anyway, guys, let me go straight into today's headline. And look, it's not looking good. It's not looking good for United because we've been calling it out for some time. We've been saying to you guys, we've been warning you, saying, look, the Ruben Amorim sacking wasn't worrying in the fact that he got sacked. It was, number one, the manner in which he got sacked, and number two, it was the timing of his sacking. Why did it happen? Why did it happen right at this moment in time? And it all goes back to Jason Wilcox. Everything leads back to this guy. Now, this is the news breaking. Man United exploring a move to sign a new left winger. What? Like, why? Why? In this month's transfer window, Michael Carrick and the club's recruitment team, led by Jason Wilcox, are scouring the market for a suitable loan options. Now, I mentioned yesterday to you, I said to you, I think Ineos, I'm sure they watch my channel. I'm sure they do. I'm sure they're watching me constantly, because I said yesterday, why are United not exploring loan options? Okay, I understand if they can't afford players and they don't want to sign players and they're thinking, right, okay, we don't want any long-term players coming in, and we don't know what position we'll be in the summer because we're going to get a new actual manager. Right now we've got interim Carrick in there, so once we get our actual full-time manager, then he might want different players, so we don't want to sign anybody. I get that, but stop bullshitting us. You can quite easily go out there and loan players for the rest of the season. There's plenty of options out there. So that's what I was calling out United for. I was saying, no, that's an absolute lie. They're not telling us the truth. They can actually go out there and sign people on short-term loans. We saw it before at United under Ten Hag. We've seen it. We've seen short-term loans come in. So they can do that right now. They can go out there and get a loan move on a midfielder, give Carrick some hope, some options. But now we're hearing, yes, they're scouring the market for a loan option for a left winger. Left winger? This is the problem, guys. This is the problem. Jason Wilcox, what is he on about? And look, to be honest with you, I don't actually 100% believe that this is a Jason Wilcox call. I also feel that Carrick is also pushing for this move. And the reason why I'm saying that is because Carrick, if you look at his Middlesbrough team, he always played down that left side, and he was always quite attacking. So he wants maybe a left winger to be an attacking left winger, someone with pace down that side. But look, Carrick, come on. Carrick, stop doing this to yourself. We need a midfielder. Everybody who knows anything about football can see that United lack that presence in the midfield. We don't control games for that reason. You know, when Ruben was saying we can't control games, we don't control games, we go up, but we can't control the pace of the game, what's going on, we lose control. We lose control because we haven't got a midfield that can control games. A midfield that can pick up the ball, hold the play up, and then look for passes going forward and just simply kill off games. That's the problem. We haven't got players like that. And yes, we should be exploring the market for new players, but not in the left wing position, but in the midfield position. So if United go and bring in a left winger before they bring in a midfielder, that's it. They're destroying anything, any hope that we've got of succeeding in this season. Any chance of qualifying for the Champions League football this season will be over. I mean, Carrick can do whatever he feels like doing, but he's not going to succeed without bringing in the right players. And he's going to quickly realise, and my problem is, we've got about 15 days left before the window closes. And after that, I don't want to hear bullshit from Carrick or Wilcox or anybody else coming out with excuses. Oh, well, you know what? We haven't got the midfielders that we needed. Like, yes, you've got a chance to rectify that right now, because I don't want to hear excuses later on. I don't want to hear that we missed out on Champions League football because we didn't sign a midfielder. Because that's what's going to happen if we don't sign a midfielder. Watch this space. Watch this space. Mark my words. I'm telling you, if we do not sign a midfielder, we're going to start hearing excuses come March time about how we're not succeeding because we haven't got midfielder. And every fan is going to be having an absolute meltdown about, why have we got midfielder? Oh my God. Well, this is your opportunity. This is your opportunity to actually make it count. This is a time where we can put pressure on Ineos and say, we need a bloody midfielder. We need that. We've been needing one for a long time. This has been a problem, not just right now, not in just this season. It's been a problem for some time. And do you know what? Give Ruben Amorim some credit. He didn't want Sesko over a midfielder. He didn't want even Senny Lemons. He wanted a midfielder. That was his priority. He kept saying it. He goes, look, I need a midfielder. Before anybody else you bring in, I need a midfielder. United and Wilcox himself let him down. Wilcox is a complete clown. Complete clown. We need to wake up and understand that that is a problem. And now we're just watching the market go past us. All the players that we were looking at, Baleba, nowhere to be seen. Others, nowhere to be seen. In fact, actually, you know, we just sat there. We just sat there watching everything go to other clubs. We got this from Ben Jacobs. Atletico Madrid are interested in signing João Gomez this winter, January, as Moreto called it. Wolves are braced for an approach. There is an acceptance Gomez will leave if Wolves are relegated, but the club are relaxed about keeping the Brazilian until the summer unless a strong offer arrives. Gomez's professionalism has been noted within Wolves this season, and he's not the type of character to agitate for a move. Understand Wolves value Gomez in excess of 40 mil. Now, look, I'm not saying he's the answer, but he's definitely an option. He's definitely someone who would improve United currently. He's definitely an upgrade on Ugarte. He's brilliant on the ball. He can hold the ball. He's a menace. He defends really well. He's a very good player for Wolves. In fact, he's impressed me a lot this season. He's one of those players who just carries on playing and does not give up. And even against United, I've watched him and I've thought, right, okay, this guy's actually quite good. He could actually do a job for United. And now we're watching Atletico Madrid just stroll in and they might end up boxing him off. And 40 mil is not bad. It's not bad. I think they should explore a loan move if they can. But if they can't, look, where's that 65 mil apparently that we had that was going to be spent on Semenyo? Where's that money gone? Where's it gone? Either it was bullshit that we were going for Semenyo, that's what I believe, or they have got the money somewhere and they've just not willing to spend it. They're willing to hold on to it and wait till the summer. But let me tell you something, Wilcox. Let me tell you something, Ineos. There might not be a summer. You know what I mean? There might not be a summer because we might not be in the Champions League football positions. We might not have anything to play for. We might not have any reason to sign any more players. We might be heading into next season again, actually not in major competitions, actually knowing that we're not going to play many games. So what's the bloody point of going and bringing in more squad players? So it just does not make any sense to me. We've got a chance now. Now is our opportunity. Why let this season die? Why? It does not make any sense to me, guys. Does not make. I don't understand. I don't understand what's going on with behind the scenes at United. Why they feel like, right, okay, we can just write off this season. It just does not make any sense to me. And today we've got breaking news apparently about the Glazers turning up. Yes, and the circus is turning up, guys. The circus is in town. So Jim Ratcliffe is flying into Manchester to meet Joel and Avram Glazer. Oh yeah, they're still on Man United, by the way, at Manchester United's latest executive committee meeting. The location of the summit has been moved to Manchester to avoid upheaval for United's football leadership team in this turbulent time. They are usually held in Monaco, and to provide Ratcliffe and the Glazers a chance to speak to Michael Carrick and his staff. I can't believe we're in 2026 and we are still talking about the Glazers and Ineos running the show, man. I mean, just the sight of these guys puts me off, man. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm just looking at the Glazers. They look like they're walking bloody dead. They look like they're just, and then they look at Jim. I mean, he looks like he's the long lost brother of the Glazers. Just wrong on so many levels, guys. I mean, just by looking at them, you can tell they're absolute scum, these guys. They don't care about Man United. They don't care about United not doing well. All they care about is making money. And if anyone says, no, I don't agree with that, bullshit. The Glazers wanted that Super League, remember? Remember the Super League? They had absolutely nothing to stopping them, right? It was lucky that the fans got up and kicked off, or else we would have absolutely destroyed Premier League football. The world of football as we know it would have been destroyed. And guess who were really championing that? It was the Glazers. They were pushing for it to happen because they knew they're going to make lots of money and it's going to guarantee that United will continuously make money in the future. And no one wants to see that. I like the way the things are right now. I love the Premier League. I love the fact that we've all got our separate leagues and everyone can watch the leagues in their own countries, and then we can have that Champions League and watch the champions play against each other. That's how I like football. And I do not want some idiots coming in who don't know anything about football destroying that setup. But this is what the Glazers were always about. They want a payday. They want to make huge money out of United. There's no issue, and actually there's no desire for keeping the United heritage or anything. That's just out of the window. Absolutely don't give a crap about that. So yeah, that's the Glazers and Jim Ratcliffe meeting, and they're obviously going to meet with Carrick, sit down with him and get to know him. More like they're just going to sit down and say to him, right, you've got to toe the line. That's what it is. That's all it is. You got to toe the line. Are you a yes man? Yeah, I am. Yes, I am. I am. I'll do whatever you say. That's Carrick. I mean, he's interim manager. No one gives a shit about an interim manager. Look, I like Carrick. I like him, but do I think he's important to United's success going forward? Well, not really. I mean, look, let's be honest. Wilcox is running the show. And if Wilcox is running the show, he's just a puppet. Carrick is just a puppet. He's just going to be there, just, saying yes to whatever Wilcox says. So if Wilcox calls him into his office and says, right, guess what? I need you to come in and do this for me, Carrick. I need you to do that for me. He's going to just do it. And look, there's lots of controversy around Carrick and his backroom staff. Lots of people not happy with Steve Holland. We've heard Roy Keane come out and say the same, saying, who the F is Steve Holland? Why is he there for? Woodgate. What the hell? What experience has Woodgate got? Like, seriously? Like, and Johnny Evans as well. Like, we like Johnny Evans. I like Johnny Evans. Yeah, played for United. He's been a loyal servant to the club. But what coaching experience has he got? I mean, unless I've got it completely wrong, and this guy has been coaching teams behind the scenes. Like, as far as I was aware, Johnny Evans doesn't have any coaching experience. So we're bringing in Johnny Evans, Steve Holland, who's not even a United man, yeah? And same thing with Woodgate. Like what? So, look, for me, It doesn't bode well. Everything that I'm hearing, everything that's going on at United with Wilcox pulling the strings does not bode well. Does not bode well. This is essentially the beginning of the end for United as we know it. This is what happens. This is what is happening. Our last final hope was Ruben. And he failed. He failed in getting the best out of the team. He failed to win. And, well, yeah, Ineos have been given that opportunity now to say, right, okay, we've got rid of Ruben Amorim. We're going to take control. Wilcox is going to run the show. And he's going to speak to Jim Ratcliffe, who's the guy who's making all the calls. He's the one who's saying who's coming in and who's not. And for us, that is really worrying because we've got someone we've got no transparency in the club. I mean, we were worried about the Glazers, but right now we've got zero transparency because even our manager is not Carrick. It's actually Wilcox, but Wilcox doesn't have to answer to anything. And I find it astonishing that Carrick could come in and agree to that. But then again, he's probably thinking, I'm interim manager. No one's going to really care. I'm here for 17 games. I'll do my job and I'll build up my credit. And even if I don't get the job at United, if I do half a decent job, I'll get offers from left, right and centre and I can, progress my career. It's not bad, is it? Having Man United manager on your CV. So when you turn up to other clubs, they look at that and you probably get the job just because you've managed Man United and you've been in that hot seat. And if you've done half decent, well, there you go. You're going to get lots of offers from other clubs. So Carrick is probably thinking, I can't go wrong here. I've got a free hit because it's the club's in such a position right now that I could quite easily, get some more wins than what Ruben Amorim was doing. So he's thinking from his perspective. Wilcox is thinking, brilliant, I've got this guy in who's just going to say yes to everything I say. And if I say we're bringing in a left winger, he'll say yes. If I say we're not going to bring any transfers in, he's going to say yes. And if I say, right, I want you to be doing this formation and this way, I want you to set up the team, he's going to say yes. So he's got full control. And of course, who controls Wilcox? It's Jim Ratcliffe. And who controls Jim Ratcliffe? The Glazers. That's where we're at, guys. That's where we're at. Nothing has changed. The input of the Ineos coming in hasn't changed anything. The Glazers are still ultimately in control. And when the Glazers tell Jim to jump, he jumps. He says, how high? How high? And that's what we're getting, guys. That's what we're getting. And if anyone sits there and thinks, nah, the Glazers have got no control or no say in the footballing matters of anything, and that's what's been reported by the mainstream media about, no, Ineos are now in charge of all footballing matters. Come on, man. Come on. Nobody believes that shit, right? Joel Glazer is hands-on with Man United and the footballing side of things. He's just as important as Jim Ratcliffe on the footballing side of things. They have not let go of control. Nobody does that. Nobody. I'll go to the chats because there's quite a few of you in the house. In the house. I love it, guys. First of all, I want to say a big, massive appreciation to everybody who comes in and drops comments and of course wants have your say and just thank you very much, and everyone who hits the like as well and just supports the channel. It means a lot to us. It means a huge amount to us, and we always do these streams because we want to interact with Man United fans and find out what they think about it. And it's always interesting because you almost think, it's only us who are thinking this. But then as soon as you jump on the stream and you hear the fans' opinions, you realise that actually there's lots of people out there who are thinking the same thing. Lots of fans out there who are thinking exactly what you're thinking. And you feel a bit more warmer. You feel like, we're okay as a fan base. We're not completely lost, right? We're not completely lost. As a fan base, we're all looking at it in the same way. And if that's the case, we're not a lost fan base. We've got some hope because ultimately the fans are the most important factor to any club. If there's no fans, if on Saturday no fan turns up to watch United play, that's it. That's it's over. It's over for the Ineos and Glazers. And sometimes I do think, okay, the only way you really, make a protest effective is if you protest and do not go to the game. And you say, right, okay, we're not having this. But the problem we've got is Ineos are really clever, and they know exactly how to squeeze fans. They know that there's lots of season ticket holders, and if they miss, I think it's 2 games or something, if they're not there, they will revoke. I think it's 2 games. I don't know what it is, but there is a certain requirement for you to attend, and if you don't, they revoke your season ticket. And so if you're boycotting games in protest of Ineos and the Glazers, they can revoke that, and there'll be a long line of plastic United fans who will say, yeah, we'll take that ticket and we'll come and watch whether we like United or not. I mean, you'd be surprised actually how many people who are not United fans actually go and watch United. I was in Old Trafford, and there's this whole group of people, and I was like, right, okay, are you United fans? I've got talking to them, and they're like, no, we're not, we're actually Liverpool fans. And I was like, what? And they're like, yeah, but we've just bought some season tickets because we had the opportunity to buy them. And I was like, this is ridiculous. Surely they should put a stipulation that you have to be. But how do they manage that? How do they manage who gets a season ticket? It's not easy, is it? It's not easy. You can't just say, right, okay, do you support United or not? And if you're a Liverpool fan, you're not allowed to buy season tickets. But I don't know how they got them, but they clearly, they had the money to go and spend and buy the season tickets. The real manager here is Wilcox ML. Yes, spot on, man, spot on. I mean, look, I'm glad there's fans like you out there who can actually see what's going on, because I'm terrified. I'm terrified. This news coming out today about Wilcox calling the shots on bringing in a new left winger, and I was like, that is pure Wilcox. You know that. And there was also something going in through my head yesterday, and I thought, United are not going to sit back and not bring anybody to the squad this transfer window, because it's all a PR game for United. It's all a PR game. They need to be in the media. They need to be in the news constantly to sell them shirts, to have United being promoted constantly. And if they're not in the transfer market, looking at players, making offers, supposedly making offers, no one's going to be talking about United. And that's not good business. Good business is when United are constantly in the news. And that's why they want this kind of news always being generated around United, linked to this player, monitoring that player, doing this, doing that, because that's what keeps United relevant. And so Ineos, of course, will be looking at that very carefully and thinking, actually, yeah, we might as well link ourselves and say we're monitoring these players. So look, do not get me wrong. In the next 15 days before the transfer window closes, we're going to hear lots of made-up stories about United looking at Tom, Dick and Harry, yeah, and monitoring this player, that player. But I'm telling you, it's going to be absolute garbage. It's going to be garbage. So, because I don't feel like United want to spend any money. They don't want to spend any money. And this is the perfect excuse. This is the perfect excuse. Because if they wanted to buy players, why didn't they just bloody do it under Ruben Amorim? Because that was clearly one of the main issues. They didn't want to buy players for Ruben Amorim, and Ruben Amorim threw his dummy out, obviously, and said, right, okay, I'm gonna have a go at you guys and whatnot. And then, so why didn't they just do that if that was the case? So I do not believe for a moment that that's happening. I'm wondering if the Premier League are pay United not to buy a midfielder because this ridiculous, utterly and totally ridiculous. Yeah, it's ridiculous if we're not going and filling in the most obvious position, right? I mean, if you look at United, even a kid could tell you, okay, yeah, you know what, we've got all our positions covered, but the midfield is crap. Ugarte, Casemiro in a Man United midfield is not what you're looking for. Carrick was interim for 3 games, and all those he didn't start Bruno. He started Donny. Bad news for Bruno. Wow, that's an interesting take, actually. That's an interesting take. I wonder if that's going to be the case now, though. But yeah, I remember that. I remember when he gave Van der Beek the start in a lot of these games. Sorry, but it's gonna be Pete Tong, believe. Yeah, I think so too, man. I think so too. Which system Carrick is going to play? That will include Sesko and Mbeumo Ahmad. We can't afford to bench one of them. We need need 3 of them on the pitch. Really interesting question, that. Really interesting question, because in the show the other night that I did, I had a guest on, and we were discussing what formation Carrick would end up playing, and we couldn't work it out. I couldn't work it out. I couldn't work out what he would play. Now, that reminds me, Sandil, I'm going to bring up this here. I've got this Carrick formations that he played with Middlesbrough. So you've got the most common formations he used in all competitions. So if you look carefully, his go-to formation was a 4-2-3-1 formation. He played 120 games with Middlesbrough using that formation. Now, who could he fit in that formation? So I'm looking at, let's go and discuss this one, right? Okay, so if we're discussing the 4-2-3-1, Sesko clearly would be our striker. Just behind him, if you're looking at it, who would that be? So if it was me, if it wasn't me, if I'm thinking like Carrick, and if I think what Carrick's going to do, this is what I'm gonna say. I don't want to go into a lot of analysis and all this technical talk about football. It might be boring for you guys, but so I won't spend too much time on it. Let me know if you kind of enjoy it. I mean, some people, I enjoy it. Some fans don't enjoy it. Some fans are like, allow this, you know what I mean? Who gives a shit kind of thing? What formation and blah, blah. But I will go through it with you anyway. Let's just look at the 121 game formation that he used, and we can maybe have you guys comment on it and see. So 4-2-3-1, I think he's going to play Sesko up front, and just behind him, I think he would either play Mbumo or Ahmad or Kuna, one of those two. And on the wings, I think he would have to play. What I think he's going to do, I think he's going to play Kuna, Ahmad, and Mbumo in them 3 positions. You might think I'm crazy, but I think either he could play Bruno in the cam position, where I would say is the best position for him. But I can see him thinking, right, no, just like Sandil said, look, he's got to play Mbumo, he's got to play Ahmad, and he might think I've got to play Kuna as well. If he drops Kuna, then I think it becomes an easy option for him, because he can play Ahmad on one side, Mbumo on the other, and play Bruno through the middle as cam, and then he can play Ugarte and Casemiro, the brilliant 2 midfielders that we got in there. And the defense, it picks itself. We know what's going to happen there. We've got options in the defense anyway, but I think the question mark is who plays up front, because does he drop Ahmad? Because in that 4-2-3-1 formation, I can't see Ahmad fitting in there. I mean, he's not going to play him right back, is he? So he's either got to play in that position up forward, or put him on the bench. And I don't feel like Ahmad should be benched. I'll be shocked if he is benched, because that'll be crazy. That'll be crazy for me, because for me that's nonsensical. Ahmad being benched when he's going through probably one of his best forms right now ever. I've not seen him playing like this ever. I mean, I've been watching him at the AFCON as well. He's played brilliantly. He's carried his team. Really, really, really good player for us right now as well. He's been causing a lot of problems for teams. So that is it. I mean, I won't go too deep on it, Sandil, because I might do a separate show just before just before the Man City game. We might do a preview show, and I'll bring that up again, and we'll go through it in a lot more detail on maybe an evening show when everything's a bit more chilled, and we can go through and analyse exactly how Carrick might set up his United team against Man City and how we might see it going forward. But it's going to be interesting. So make sure you hit that subscribe so you can watch that. You can watch that stream, and we can discuss it together. You can have your say as well. You don't have to be a subscriber to make comments on the channel as well, as long as you keep them nice and clean and obviously amicable. I'm not here to listen to anyone completely go off on one, and but if you're making a good point, absolutely hit that comment and let us know what you think. Tamez Jen, welcome, mate. Hope you're well. Thank you for dropping a comment. I think it's your first comment. I've not heard you before, but anyway. Wilcox, I want midfielder Anderson, João Gomez, Neves, Schlotterbeck, Adeyemi, Llorente. United is better for the next season, please. I think you made this comment yesterday, man. I'm sure you did. I'm sure you came on and you said the same thing, but I agree with you. That's a nice shopping list. I don't think Ineos will be able to afford even one of them off there. Also, make plan for signing a loan boy. Yeah, that'll be really good. And Neves, Luis, Wesley, Vinicius. Are you crazy, man? Zari to make plan for Wilcox. Nah, man, that's not happening. That's not happening. Dave, how's it going, mate? Hope you're doing well. Hello, Travis. Glazers are money-hungry leeches. They always do things so that it doesn't affect the money. With Ineos now being involved, they are really affected by the revenue streams. Yeah, they are. They are. I think there is problems behind the scenes that we're not fully aware of. I've heard from some sources saying that, look, the Glazers are not happy because they're not been getting their dividends. So they've got all this money stuck in United. So let me break it down to you, okay? So the Glazers bought United in with obviously loans from the banks, and they spent about 600 mil, shall we say, there or thereabouts, right? Buying United, they leverage that on the club. They don't really care, but right now United's worth in the region of about 4 to 5 mil. They could quite easily find a buyer who would probably pay that much money to buy United. The problem is Glazers want a big, massive payday. They don't want 4 to 5 mil. They want 7. They want 7 plus to sell United, because they're looking at United and thinking, oh, well, in the future, it could be worth a lot more. Now, only in the Glazer world could you do such a thing. Could you think such a stupid thing, right? Which is, oh, yeah, right now, I've got a car, or I've got an asset which is worth, in the current market, this much, but it could be worth a lot more in the future. So I want whichever buyer to come in to pay me for the future value, not the value what it is right now. So imagine if you're selling a house. That's a perfect example. So everyone would understand that. If you've got a property and it's worth £100,000, and you're saying, the buyer comes in and he says, I'll pay you 100,000. I'll take this house off you. And you say, no, I don't want 100,000, because in another 20 years, it could be worth 250,000. So I want you to pay me 250,000 for the house. And the buyer's thinking, well, no, because the market value right now in today's date is 100,000. Why would I pay you more for the house? Surely that's what I benefit from. If I buy the house and it increases in value, well, I should benefit from that, not you. Right now, you can't do that. So that's the complete crazies that we've got in Glazers, yeah? This is why no one's coming to buy United, because the Glazers are just parasites, man. They're sucking United dry, and right now they've got a problem, because since Ineos have come in, they've not been taking any dividends. They've not been taking any dividends, and they've got a problem, because they don't like that. They want their golden egg every year. The goose that was laying the golden egg in Man United is no longer giving him that now. And it's going to cause a huge problem for him, a huge problem. And I think that's why there are talks being held by the Glazers, looking to sell, maybe looking to get out. We did discuss this a number of times in a live stream a couple of months ago about how there's a consortium out in the Middle East that are looking to buy United or thinking about United. But I think every time someone comes up to the Glazers and says, right, we're interested in buying United, the Glazers turn around and say, yeah, we'll sell, but we're not going to sell for the market value. We're not going to sell for what United's worth right now. We're going to sell for what United could be worth in the future. Absolutely ridiculous stance, but that's what it is, and that's why we're stuck with these bloody parasites. We bought 2 number 10s instead of 2 midfielders. We had Bruno and Ahmad who were cooking in those positions, so now we're going to play 4-3-3 with no wingers while we're playing a 3-4-3 without wing-backs. Yep, I agree. We should have gone and bought the midfielders at that point. Even the Glazers, we did win the odd Europa League, FA Cups, Carabao Cups. With Ineos, does anyone really see us winning trophies? Good point there, Dave. Good point. This is why at the start of this show, at the opening of this show, I said, you know what? The Glazers are probably loving it, because they're thinking, we were better than Ineos. We were better than Ineos. So now the fans can't even criticise us, because Ineos are a complete shit show. They're making us look good. And who would have thought that Ineos who would have thought the Glazers would look good? But Ineos have managed that impossible task of making the Glazers actually look good. And I've thought exactly that, Dave. I've sat there and thought, shit, you know what? Actually, under the Glazers, at least the manager got control, and we looked like we were playing better football. We looked like we were going in the right direction. Right now, we've got zero hope under Ineos. Zero hope. We can rebuild the stadium. We have instead, we can rebuild the stadium. We have instead of wasting money. This is fast and utter fast. I could run United myself with my eyes closed. Look, anyone could do that. We could quite easily be running United and know what to do. Everyone knows what fixes United. Problem is, Ineos don't necessarily want to do that. As soon as this show finishes, I'm sending Andy Burnham an email not to sport this animals. This is insulting animals. Do you know what? Yeah. By the way, guys, if you haven't already, there's a campaign going around about sending Andy Burnham. And if you're not from the UK, you're probably not fully aware who this Andy Burnham guy is, but he is the mayor of Manchester. So it's quite an important role. He dictates everything. Of course, he had to give the go-ahead for the new Old Trafford Stadium, and he's helped Jim Ratcliffe get the permissions and everything else, and the rebuilding of the area around Manchester United, Old Trafford. So a lot of people now, the fans are sending him emails. There's a template around on social media. Just go and check it out. And you just copy and paste it and send it to him. And it's just saying to him, you as the mayor should not be supporting a club like United because this is what they're doing. I know, or the owners and Ineos and the Glazers. And I think there's good reason for that. And I think, yeah, that is good. I think we should be calling out the Glazers, and we shouldn't allow them to bed themselves in even further into the foundations of the club, because that's what they're trying to do. But look, all that said, I don't believe they've got the money to even spend on building the stadium. They will take out a further £2-3 billion loan to build the stadium. Mark my words, they will not spend their own money on building it. We'll need 3 or 4 midfielders to replace the players that are leaving. We will not buy 3 or 4 players in the summer, so we need at least one in the January. The rumour is we are going for a winger. Yeah, spot on, Jim. Absolutely. And that is not what we're looking for. Buy the popcorn. Ineos will employ. Oh, Mark, I love that comment. You know what? I hope you're right. Mark. I will be at front seat, man. If that happens, I will be there with my popcorn, just cheering it on, because it looks like it's on the cards. It looks like it could happen, because this is dangerous territory for Ineos. We've not seen this kind of fan backlash since Ineos have come in, and I can feel like the tide is turning against Ineos. I'll give them whatever they want to get them out of this club. Dave says, I don't know how reliable sources are, but there are reports that are saying that Glazers want to sell. They see that the ship is sinking and want to evict before it gets worse. Look, yeah, there's been reports for a couple of months now that the Glazers are exploring a way out, an exit strategy. What I find with Ineos astonishing is that they've got the chance to buy the Glazers out. They had the exclusivity period where they could have made the offer and bought the Glazers out. Now they still have the opportunity to buy them, but they're not doing it. That's just crazy to me. How can you be a United fan? How can he be a United fan and be like, oh, look, do you know what? I'm not gonna get rid of the worst thing that's ever happened to the club. I'm not gonna get rid of the Glazers. I'm not gonna buy them out. I'm gonna leave them right where they are. Just crazy, isn't it? It's crazy. And then he wants us, or the Ineos want us to have faith in Ineos. Like, what are you asking for? You're asking us to back you when you do not have the interests of United and the club at heart. That's what it is. Because if you did, Like I said, I've said it to many people, many fans. If you were a billionaire and you had the money to spare and you wanted to buy United, you would have got the Glazers out way back, way back. As FA don't want Glazers anymore because they are putting money in. They're using credit card. Look at our schedule. If not playing a night football, is early football. Referees are against us. Well, look, I can see. I can see that they. I think the FA and the Premier League secretly would like the Glazers gone, and the reason being is because they know that the Glazers are trying to position United to move away from the Premier League. I think that was done when they tried to jump ship and go off to the Super League, and I think the Premier League realised, wow, these Glazers are trouble, right? We need them out, and I think ever since then the tide shifted, not dramatically but slightly, against the Glazers. The Glazers still have enough control of the media and certain establishments who still don't call out the Glazers as much as they should be called out. So I think the Glazers still have some kind of say. Of course, many sports journalists and media want access to Man United, so they don't want to upset the owners. That's what it is. And same thing with Ineos. They don't want to upset them. They don't want to write anything negative, knowing full well that they could have all the access to United cut off. So that's why they're always like, right, okay, treading on eggshells. That's what it is. But no, really good point there. I think the other problem we've got in the Premier League right now is the FA and Premier League. They're probably looking at the Glazers. They're probably looking at United and know full well that, wait up, this club is in £1.2 billion of debt. Or 1.3, I think, around that mark. And if they build that stadium, which there's plans to do, they're going to have to seek further funding. Forget all that, man. We had to go and get credit facilities to buy Mbeumo and Kuna and Sonny Lemons. This is what I'm talking about, man. These guys are skint. You know, which other club does that? Which other club says, oh, we're going to have to take out a temporary credit facilities to go and buy new players? No bank in their right mind will lend these shit any money. Do you know what? You'll be surprised, ML. Do you know what? It's not necessarily the banks, but it'll be like investment firms who are, you know, always looking for opportunities to make lots of money. Let me actually put a prime example for you. So imagine the banks that lent the money to the Glazers and who are now laughing. They've been laughing for all these years because they lent all this money to the Glazers. The Glazers each year, do you know how much Man United have to pay in interest alone on these credit facilities? Just to pay the interest alone is around about £40 million. 40 million, 40 million pounds each year goes out of the Man United facilities and goes and services the debt that the Glazers have put on United. 40 million. That's like a signing each year without anything, right? We could have, imagine if we don't pay the interest for 2 years. That is 80 mil that we could buy every 2 seasons. We can go out there and buy a world-class signing. That is it, guys. This is what's going. Man United are a club that make shitloads of money, but the problem is we've got these greedy arseholes sat there who are taking all the money. They're not allowing United's money to be spent on United. And that money comes from revenue. It comes from shirt sales. It comes from fans all around the globe putting money into the back pockets of the Glazers. And that's why they're not letting go, man. So, look, there'll be plenty of investment firms. If they're approached, they'll say, yeah, we'll give you a loan for $2 billion and we'll charge a huge interest on that. And we're going to be laughing all the way because you guys will never be able to clear that debt. And the club will never be able to clear the debt unless someone comes in, someone completely different. You know what? We should all be glad that Ineos bought into the club because they are open. They've opened our eyes for what's happening under the Glazers. A lot of these things would still be hidden. So I'm grateful. Yeah, I agree with that comment. I think that's a really good comment you've made there. You've made a really good comment because I think what Ineos have done is lifted the lid to some degree as to what's going on. Ineos are a bit like they've come in and they've not hidden the fact that they're going to cut jobs, they're going to cut funding to this and that, blah, blah, blah. And they've thought, right, okay, no one's going to kick off and the fans can't say anything to us. And the Glazers would secretly have wished to have done that, would have wished to have cut all these links with all these charities and everything. But it's backfired on Ineos big time. Massive, massive backfire on them. Guys, I'm going to leave it there. I want to say a huge thank you to everybody who's joined in today's show. It's been amazing. I'll be back tomorrow now. I won't be doing a late night stream tonight, but I will be doing one tomorrow. It's Friday. It's going to be a big day because we're going to be doing the preview. We're going to be obviously bringing you any news on transfers and everything else, any breaking news on that. So it's going to be a crazy, crazy day. But I want to say a huge thank you for everyone. Make sure you hit the likes before you leave. And if you're watching this the first time and you're thinking, who's this guy Travis talking about Man United? And he's so passionate and he's so good. Hit that subscribe button because we've got more to come. We've got more to come. And of course, everybody else, ML, Dave, Sandil, Jim, everybody, Mark, thank you very much for dropping your comments. I always love interacting with you guys because you're the guys that make the show the way it is. So thank you very much, and I'll see you next time. Thanks.